Coming up on this edition of Out of the Blue from Middle Tennessee State University, we learn about a $1.2 million grant that professors in our College of Basic and Applied Sciences received to help improve the teaching of STEM fields on our campus. We meet the new director of the Fermentation Science program and hear her describe how this major is much more than learning how to brew beer. And we introduce you to the new dean of the College of Behavioral and Health Sciences, Dr. Peter Grandjean. I'm Andrew Ottman, and this is Out of the Blue. Welcome to Out of the Blue. I'm Andrew Ottman. A trio of professors from our College of Basic and Applied Sciences was recently awarded a $1.2 million grant from the National Science Foundation. That grant will help advance research into improving the teaching of the STEM fields of science, technology, engineering, and math. And that work will benefit first students and professors right here on our campus. We'll meet two of the trio today: Mathematical Sciences Professor Sarah Bleeler-Baxter and Chemistry Professor Greg Rushton, who tells us this is an idea that was 10 years in the making. Sarah, Greg, welcome to the show. Your first time on Out of the Blue?
Yes.
Well, we've got some fun and exciting news to talk about. A $1.2 million grant from the National Science Foundation. This is incredible news. Sarah, can you talk a little bit about the scope of this project and how it came about?
Yeah, so this is actually a project that's been in the works for about 10 years now. It began as a small initiative in the Department of Mathematical Sciences. We began with a group of just 5 faculty on a committee who were interested in improving teaching in our department. And we tried to improve the process of peer review of instruction. Typically in peer review, we may sort of go in, write a letter for one of our colleagues, submit that to the portfolio for tenure promotion. We wanted something that was a little bit more impactful to our growth as professors. So we decided to start this initiative called Teaching Trios, where groups of 3 faculty observe in one another's classroom, and then afterwards they meet together and debrief and try to unpack the strengths of one another's instruction. So the focus is not for example, Greg to come into my class and tell me what to do better, but instead for Greg to come into my class, observe, recognize the strengths that I'm bringing to the table, and then we would debrief afterwards and try to unpack some of those strengths.
What I'm hearing you say is this is really an initiative that's going to begin with helping the teaching at our university, right? I mean, Greg, this is going to be, we're talking about your colleagues that are going up for tenure, that you're going to be more coaching than basically observing, right?
I wouldn't even say coaching, Andrew. I would say that we're just trying to learn from each other. So just as if I watched you in your practice and try to figure out why you do and how you do the great things that you do for the university, it would be me walking into Sarah's classroom just to learn from her, not to coach her, not to mentor her, but just to be a learner as her colleague, trying to recognize all the great things that she does with her students and try to ask how she goes about planning those kinds of lessons and getting those kinds of experiences. So yeah, so it's less coaching and more just learning, like peer mentoring each other. But she's mentoring me as she teaches in her classroom. I'm learning from her rather than me going in and trying to evaluate her teaching.
So unlike the letter scenario that Sarah was describing, which is basically I just come to the class and write a document and it's done, I'm learning, you're learning, we're kind of exchanging that practices together. Is that how this is going to work?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a more reciprocal process than the traditional way of doing peer evaluation. And the other thing we wanted to emphasize is having more relatedness among faculty, because a lot of times when we're teaching, it's an isolated experience. So I go into my classroom, close my door, I'm with my students, but oftentimes my colleagues are not around. They're not in the classroom, they're not reflecting with me on instruction. And what we're trying to do in this project is build a culture where teaching becomes something that we are doing in collaboration with our colleagues, much like we do research.
So this began with an idea, you said 10 years ago. Sarah, walk this through from hey, I got an idea, to I'm going to make this process, put it on paper, and try to sell it, and then get it to the National Science Foundation. How did that work?
Yeah, it's a really fun story. So we began as this small group in the department, and I have amazing colleagues in the Department of Mathematical Sciences who have supported the process. We piloted it for a few years, 2015, 2016, piloted the process, and thought there was something there. So we decided to write an application for a faculty learning community through the LT and ITC here at MTSU. And we tried out the TRIOS process with the Ag department, the Chemistry department, and the Math department that year.
Okay.
Then a few years later, Greg and I, and also Grant Gardner, got a TBR, a small TBR grant for the same purpose. And we worked with the Chemistry department, the Biology department, and the Math department. So we tried this out with different departments across CBAS, continued to develop it, really focused on the strength-based part of it. That became theoretically an important part of the initiative. And then I got a NIA, which is a non-instructional assignment, kind of like a sabbatical at MTSU, and spent that semester writing up some of the theory related to this, and I think that's what allowed us to move forward to an NSF-funded project.
Tell me what success is going to look like when this 5-year cycle ends. What will success be?
Sure. So we have looked at the literature that describes what STEM teaching looks like across the nation. And there are a few issues that have popped up across that literature base. One is that STEM teaching tends to be isolationist, meaning, like I said to you earlier, that faculty are doing it alone, they're not doing it in collaboration. It looks a lot different than their work that they might be doing in research. We want to move from that isolationist to success being collaborative, where the culture of teaching is collaborative. The second part that we see in the literature is that teaching cultures tend to have a weed out focus in STEM courses. So the goal being perhaps to identify the cream of the crop in the class and teach to those folks, but maybe not be teaching to the breadth of our students in classrooms. We want to move from that in our teaching cultures.
Inclusive?
To inclusive, yes, thank you. To an inclusive pedagogy where we are teaching to all of the students in our classroom. And then the last one is stagnant teaching culture. Many of us as professors in higher education learn to teach by observing our own professors. We may not have formal training in pedagogy or in teaching practice. The literature will tell you that professors in STEM courses may have more of a stagnant view of what they're doing in teaching versus what they may be doing in research, being more innovative. So in teaching, they may say that it's okay to just teach the way that my professor taught. I'm going to use that model, and not have more of what we want to get to, which is a growth perspective on teaching. So we're trying to move from those three components of isolationist, stagnant, and weed out, thank you, to our collaborative and growth, and then inclusive.
Hey, this has been a collaborative interview. I like this. Well, Greg, Sarah, thank you so much for what you're doing to create this program, and I'm so happy that it's going to help not only the students and faculty here at MTSU, but hopefully all across the country. Great work.
Thank you.
And a great haircut.
Thank you, Andrew.
Yeah, this
you
really works
too.
for us. It works for us.
You too. Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
I help people.
I create music.
I shape the future.
I am an entrepreneur.
I inspire people with more than words.
I ride forward.
The sky is not my limit.
Find your blue at MTSU.
What I love about MTSU is that you already know if you are guaranteed to be admitted. The requirements aren't hidden, and you can know today if you are accepted and qualify for one of our guaranteed scholarships. There's no mystery. Plus, you can add all of your scholarships together. We have so much to offer, and it's all right here on campus. Apply on our website at mtsu.edu/apply now. And don't forget to submit your application by December 1st to qualify for a guaranteed scholarship.
We do it all. We do it all.
Hundreds of majors, an amazing campus, faculty mentors. You can find what you're looking for at Middle Tennessee State, the University of Opportunities. We do it all.
And that's how electricity flows.
Hey, Mom! Don't break it, don't break it.
It's just one thing.
Thank you.
Wow, this looks amazing.
This is the electric robot I made all by myself.
Welcome back to Out of the Blue. I'm Andrew Oppman. MTSU's Fermentation Science major is the first degree program of its type in Tennessee, and it's much more than learning how to brew beer. It is for students interested in the science and the art of fermentation in all of its applications, including foods, beverages, industrial chemicals, medications, and more. Here to tell us about the program is its director, Professor Keely O'Brien. Keely, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
I always love to have a first time on Out of the Blue. That's great. And you're talking about one of my favorite majors, fermentation sciences. What a great opportunity for students. Walk us through the major first. Make sure our viewers and listeners understand what it's all about.
Sure, absolutely. We have two programs of study. One is our bachelor's degree, so it's a bachelor's of science, science heavy. So our students are taking 16 hours of biology, 16 hours of chemistry before they even get into the 21 hours of hands-on immersive fermentation science curriculum. Also, so you know, it's a business-focused degree. So there's 16 hours of business, accounting, marketing types of classes that our students take to really kind of set them up for entering into managerial type roles. And then they have their elective hours and things, but it is very much a science degree. And they're taking their advanced sciences as well, or organic chemistries and biochems and things like that, to really set the stage for them to work in really any area of fermentation and understand what's going on in that specific field.
So let's break down what fermentation science is. A lot of people think it's, oh, you're teaching them how to brew beer, but that's just really only one small part of this, right?
And so just to kind of break it down a little bit, at least 70% of the foods and beverages that you consume are fermented. So if you think about, you know, a pizza, right? You've got your dough, right? Fermented product, right? You got the cheese, another fermented product. Pepperonis, fermented. Olives, there you go, right? So lots of different applications of fermentation just in the foods we eat every day, right? Coffee or chocolate, all of those different types of food products. And we're learning the technology involved in manufacturing the products, the chemistry and biology behind those fermentation processes, but also there are non-food applications, right? How we compost our waste at the farm, right? So we're out at the farm kind of dealing with that sometimes. Composting, right? Wastewater treatment, pharmaceutical industry, and the manufacture of functional foods and nutraceutical products that we hear about all the time these days. So the industry is very robust, to say the least.
This is, we were talking about this before the show, this is a chemistry degree, right? I mean, I recognize it's far beyond because you're getting into marketing and so many other aspects of this, but at its core, it's a science degree.
Absolutely. It very much is. And our students, like I said, they're well prepared to go and work in, whether it's on an operations side, you know, in the production end, where they might have to do some, you know, kind of more food engineering type of work. And then we have students that will be working in the laboratory. So they really have a skill set that translates. So they're doing analysis, manufacture, R&D, so some product development is also involved.
What I think is amazing is that you're able to share with your students the perspective of these are the jobs, because I know I was in one of those jobs, I was in some of those jobs. You're able to talk through what companies need and the skill sets they need, right?
Absolutely.
And that makes it a more practical experience for the student, right?
Absolutely, right. And then just to understand kind of what is out there. You know, a lot of our students come and they want to, stay in the Middle Tennessee area, and there's a lot of job opportunities there, but with a fermented food background, national, international career opportunities abound.
You mentioned the dairy farm. We've got great investment in our facilities. You've got laboratories all across campus, right?
We do, yeah. So in addition to some of the work we do and are involved with at the Farm Lab, we have a teaching laboratory, which is really where students get their first experience of hands-on production, simple kind of analyses, taking pHs, titratable acidity, some of the general kind of chemistry skills that they'll be bringing in and applying them to fermented products. We do a lot of our instruction in that laboratory, and then we also have a newly constructed sensory lab. This is last semester was the first semester that we actually used it, so we can actually bring in products, whether it's through a class or a company wants us to test their latest sausage, right? We can bring those in and have red lights and booths where subject or participants can come in and analyze these products. We can collect really meaningful data, a full kind of prep kitchen. So that's been a really fun addition.
We've been talking a lot about the undergraduate opportunities here, but there are graduate opportunities as well, right?
Absolutely. So we have a fermentation science degree program and the MSPS program. So the Masters.
What does that stand for?
The Masters of Science and Professional Science program, which is akin to a kind of a targeted MBA program. So it's about it is half and half. So 18 hours of business core courses and then 18 hours in the fermentation sciences classes. So these students really do have a good understanding of the business side of fermented foods as well, especially if you're going to work in a larger corporation and want to enter as a managerial role. You need to understand things like supply chain and marketing, advertising, and some of these basic things that you will be involved in. Even if you're in an R&D setting or in production, you have to have awareness of these. So the MSPS program really does a great job in preparing students for these leadership roles.
You've got to have a website somewhere, right?
We do. So the best way to find us is MTSU Fermentation Science. So a Google search first thing you pop up will be fermentation science.
Right. And also, of course, you can find them from the program page at mtsu.edu.
Yes.
Just click on that button and it'll take you right to it. Keely, thank you for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm so excited to hear about your arrival here at MTSU, and I know students need to find out more about this great major. Thanks for helping them.
Thank you.
And we'll be right back.
We do it. The stars come to Middle Tennessee State University, and students come here to become stars no matter what they pursue. We do it all. We're the only college of media and entertainment in the world, just outside the heart of Nashville.
Look, mic check, 1, 2, everybody listen. When you do it like this, ain't no competition. I'm talking B.I.G., VIP. Treat them like a front row seat and make them pay attention. If I shoot for the 3, then I ain't never missing. Cranking up the degrees like I was in the kitchen. Can't lose, got too much to prove. And when you do it all, it get too hard to do it.
Our curriculum and facilities are cutting edge, and our relationships with industry leaders give students an edge over the competition.
Check it out.
You can get real-world experience with degrees in recording industry, media arts, journalism and strategic media, and more. Media and entertainment at Middle Tennessee State University. Learn to shine.
I am True Blue.
As a member of this diverse community,
I am a valuable contributor to its progress and success.
I'm engaged in the life of this community.
I am a recipient and a giver.
I am a listener and a speaker.
I am honest in word and deed.
I'm committed to reason, not violence.
I am a learner.
Now and forever.
I am a Blue Raider.
I am a Blue Raider.
I'm a Blue Raider.
True Blue.
Oh, all right. Say hi to Becca for me.
Hey, Greg. Thanks for the extra delivery this week.
What I love about MTSU is that you can know today if you are accepted and qualify for one of our guaranteed scholarships. Apply on our website at mtsu.edu/apply now. And don't forget to submit your application by December 1st to qualify for a guaranteed scholarship.
Welcome back to Out of the Blue. I'm Andrew Ottman. Middle Tennessee State University has named Dr. Peter Grandjean as its new dean of the College of Behavioral and Health Sciences after a national search. Dr. Grandjean took over on July 1st, and he comes to MTSU after 5 years as Dean of the School of Applied Sciences at the University of Mississippi in Oxford. The college he leads is arguably the best in providing education in health, mental health, and human services across our state. Pete, welcome to the show. Welcome to campus.
Thank you. It's a real pleasure to be here.
Well, it's a pleasure having you as the new Dean of the College of Behavioral and Health Sciences. Talk a little bit about this college that you're taking over here and how excited you must be about the diversity of majors you've got in that programs.
I'm absolutely delighted to be here, and the reason I was attracted to the job in the first place was because of the makeup of the college and how the college interacts with the other academic units on campus, but also how it interacts with our community and our external partners. The more I learned about it, the more excited I got because of the potential. Mm-hmm. You know, from the outside looking in, the college might look a little eclectic in terms of the program makeup and the department makeup, but it really offers a lot of opportunities for students to really hone in and find a niche in the marketplace, in their professions, in their professional careers. Examples would be, you know, we have nursing and we also have social work. And unless you think about that for just a minute, it's not really apparent how connected those really are. Nurses and, you know, and even our psychology department, let me bring them into play too, but nursing and psychology and social work all address our mental health and our well-being. And they work together to do that in different areas. So it's a beautiful place for our students to learn how other disciplines work with their disciplines and how we can work with our community to improve the lives and human condition.
Well, let's talk about the places that you've been. We brought you here from a little school in Mississippi, Ole Miss.
That's right.
Talk about your job there and your journey and your career in academics.
I started off wanting to be a football coach, believe it or not. And so I was a biology teacher and a high school football coach that was charged with developing the strength and human performance in our team.
Okay.
I wanted to know what we were doing and why we were doing it. And I realized that if I really wanted to learn more, I wanted to stay curious in that area, I needed to go back to school. So I did. And I was going for exercise physiology, thinking it was human performance, and I started working in a cardiac rehab facility. And meeting those people and engaging with those healthcare providers, I realized that there's a much more altruistic notion to exercise physiology, applying it to chronic disease risk reduction. The science of that was still intriguing to me, and my curiosity spurred me on to more study. So I don't want to go into my whole life story, but I want to say what that did was that led to a position as an assistant professor. As many who are aware of the academic enterprise, you have teaching and research and service and community engagement. So it was learning how to put those things together, and we created a community-based outreach program where we were training students in the clinical realm and all the knowledge and skills and abilities you needed to measure blood pressure and blood and lung function and all those kinds of things. That led me to my next step, Baylor University. They really wanted to start a program like that too, and I never thought I would leave my first job at Auburn University. That's where that was. But I moved to Baylor and we created something even more powerful. The residency program we were working with there wanted us to be in the community. So we were doing those health and fitness assessments in the community, but we needed public health to do the asset mapping. What do we do with this information once we've given it to individuals? What do they do with it? So they've got the residency program. Where do they go? to improve their health or fitness. So public health did the asset mapping. Social work came in alongside us, and they were helping referring people to the assets in the area. Speech and language pathologists came on board, and they were doing health literacy. We had nutritionists that were helping people learn how to cook their fruits and vegetables to eat more healthy. And this whole thing just blossomed. Mm-hmm. That's how I got here. I saw an opportunity at Ole Miss where there was a school with many of the same eclectic programs or arrangements that we have here. But what led me here was the fact that we also have the healthcare professions embedded right alongside those professions that help us with just basic health. These programs all match together in some way, shape, or form. And it's really intriguing. I'm not the one that determines how they match. My job as a dean, and this exciting part about it, is to create an environment where people are free to be curious, free to innovate, right, and flourish, and think about those ideas on their own.
So talk about your plans for the college. What do you see as the challenges and the opportunities ahead?
Yeah, the challenges of the college are just to come in and to meet everyone, understand our faculty and our staff and our students and their passions. So it's a people business. At the end of the day, no matter what we do, it's a people business. So to meet our people, to understand what drives them, what their passions are, and how I can help facilitate or create an environment where they can flourish. That's a big challenge. It takes time. And that's the challenge, right? Is the time it takes to get to know people and learn before you say, okay, we're going to change this or we're going to do that. To listen to their ideas and figure out the direction and the path forward. So that would be the challenge. The opportunities for the college are just endless. So I'm meeting external partners, people who have had long-standing relationships with some of our faculty and staff, but also trying to meet others who we really haven't tapped into or haven't developed relationships with, and trying to figure out connections there. We have unique programs that have unique features because we're in a competitive realm here, no matter what our programs are. And then what makes us relevant? And I've challenged our faculty and staff to think about those things. So if we can identify what makes us unique and what makes us relevant, then we can sell our programs. So there's some opportunities, tremendous opportunities here.
Well, Pete, thanks for joining us on the show. Welcome to Middle Tennessee State University. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here.
And this does wrap up another edition of Out of the Blue. A reminder, you can find news about the campus 24 hours a day by going to our website, mtsunews.com. You can also find additional special content on our social media platforms, X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Facebook. True Blue TV is available on most streaming services and our app. Broadcasting from the Center for Educational Media, I'm Andrew Ottman. Stay safe, stay on course, and remain true blue.